Hello, everybody, and welcome to Friday Apocryphal Podcast, your one-stop shop for everything Friday Apocryphal and podcast. And boy, do we have a show for you today. Today we are covering 2nd Baruch, chapters 14 through 20, and it worked. It did. It worked. We're on.
Yeah.
We're live.
Apologize for the lateness. So it seems like OBS just kind of got fucked.
Opened wrong?
Yeah, it must have opened wrong, I guess.
Because we couldn't access anything useful.
Right, yeah. So
even though I had disconnected the stream and I'm like, well, I don't know. Yeah, everything's normal.
yeah, it was always in the process of stopping the stream.
Yeah, isn't
so
that
then
nice?
we were like, okay, so we just have to redo this.
It wouldn't even let us change the stream key or look at it.
Right. So luckily it's all working now.
What I always do first, whenever I have any technical issue, is turn it off and turn it on again.
Wow.
And it always works.
You're brilliant, man.
Remember that time I had
That
to
is
turn
so
off
smart.
the computer or it turned itself off and turning it back on was not the solution?
Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah.
That's a rarity.
That's because it turned itself off.
Right.
You need to be the one to turn it off
No,
and
it
turn
said
it
not
on
to.
again.
Hey, he did a very good job of turning that one thing off. And then the computer turned itself off.
Yeah.
After that, but I don't blame you. I don't blame you for that.
Anyways,
Blue screens are
we're reading
blue.
from Old Testament pseudepigrapha.
Yes, we are. Volume 1, Apocalyptic Literature and
Hey guys, do
Testaments.
you want to pretend we're having a really bad error?
No.
No, please let's not. Because last time we pretended we had a bad error. Ah, damn it. Okay. Yeah, right.
What
'cause
have you done?
He just switches to the to the non-existent camera right now. Okay.
It's blue.
Yes.
So it looks
Wonderful.
like we lost everything. Yeah.
I'm glad. Anyways.
Yep. Anyways.
2nd Baruch. It's been a while since 2nd Baruch.
Yeah, because I was just feeling sick last week, I guess. Like, I just woke up feeling bad. So we didn't do that. And instead, we just waited to do the stream on Sunday, which I think was quite a bit of fun. I enjoyed doing that stream. I enjoyed throwing candy at the camera and the television and everything. All this equipment right here, I enjoyed throwing candy at it. So
Yes.
yeah, that was fun. Except we did think that it might have broken like something in the TV a couple times.
It didn't though.
I know it didn't, but
It almost did.
It almost did.
It definitely discolored the screen momentarily.
It did.
Oh.
Right. Yeah. So
Concerning, guys.
Yeah.
I'm glad I wasn't looking at my screen.
You know, I
Chris is
stopped
like, "It's fine."
throwing candy at that point, and Lawrence just kept on going.
Yep.
Did you like chip 3 years off the life expectancy of my
I might have.
device?
Do you remember
Probably.
the yeah, right there. Yep, it's still there.
How do I forget? It's right here. Yeah.
Yeah, I forget that's the same one.
I should have gotten a new screen a decade ago.
Well, you know, it still works fine. So
Right? Sure. It's clearly only
It turns on.
720p,
it does turn on. You're right.
and it's like the colors are faded and not high def compared to the other screen. But yeah, it's a TV. God, I can't believe I still have this. You're right.
But either way, this translation and commentary is from AFJ Klein. I want to pronounce it Klein.
Yeah, it's Klein.
Yeah.
I spoke to some people who are in the process of learning several languages from the region.
Yeah, this seems like Klein to me.
It's Klein.
Yeah. Either way, yeah. How about we hop into it? So this has been this has been a revelation, right? And
Yes.
he is giving all this information to who's he giving it to? Jeez. I guess just the people, right? Or was this the last one was to a specific person? This one is just to the people, I think. No, that you may say to Jeremiah. Right.
Mhm.
So this is stuff that he's giving to Jeremiah.
Yes.
Yeah. So either way, so he basically talks about the destruction of the temple. Essentially, that's the big idea here, is that everyone's gonna die, everyone's guilty. Yeah. So that's the whole idea. Doom and gloom, the usual suspects for apocalyptic literature.
Yeah, good times are had by none.
Yes.
They might be.
What is the profit of being righteous? Chapter 14. And I answered and I said, Behold!
Behold! Behold.
Hold that be.
You have shown me the course of times, and that which will happen after these things. And you have told me that the retribution of that which has been spoken by you will come upon the nations. And now, I know there are many who have sinned and who have lived in happiness and who have left the world, but there will be few nations left in those times to which those words can be spoken which you said. For what is the advantage of this? Or what evil worse than that which we have seen befall us can we expect to see? But I will continue to speak before you. What have they profited who have knowledge before you, and who did not walk in vanity like the rest of the nations, who did not say to the dead, give life to us, but always feared you and did not leave your ways?
See, that sounds like a very targeted kind of polemic, doesn't it?
Pull out Isaiah 8:19.
Man, I keep leaving the thing there, so I guess I'm going to have to pull out the Septuagint. So, Isaiah 8:19. If I can find that somewhere. Yes, I can. Okay. Let's see. Isaiah 8. Wow, one verse, really? Okay. Isaiah 8:19. And if they should say to you, seek. Wait, what the hell? Why is there? Okay, if they shall say to you, seek those who have in them a divining spirit, and them that speak out of the earth, them that speak in vain words, who speak out of their belly, shall not a nation diligently seek to their God?
I don't know.
Why do they seek to the dead concerning the living? So
they're referring to
practice, I'm guessing.
They're referring to necromancy. They're referring to the process of mystically calling upon the spirits of the dead in order to get advice from them, or they're referring to some kind of ancestor worship practice.
Yeah, it definitely seems like one of those. Yeah.
One or the other. I think necromancy is probably the one that they're referring to, just because there is biblical precedent for the same kind of necromancy being recognized in their system.
Yeah, necromancy is surely cooler, but they always had this. They always had types of divination, but they wouldn't generally want to ask the dead for that divination,
right?
Because I believe that in a lot of cultures, you could ask the dead about the future, right? Because you could have them go to the. I mean, this happened in Egypt. This happened in Greece. You could ask the dead to go up to the gods and be like, hey, could you put in a good word for me with the big boys upstairs?
Yeah.
And then then jerk them off, and then
so maybe they're referring to some kind of Greek practice.
Greek, maybe. But this could be anyone, right? Because
it really could.
This polemic also existed in, as you just pointed out, in Isaiah. There.
I mean, it could apply to the Chinese too.
Yeah, it could apply to the Babylonians. That is probably what makes a lot more sense in this context, at least.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And behold, they have been diligent, and nevertheless you had no mercy on Zion on their account. And if there are others who did evil, Zion should have been forgiven on account of the works of those who did good works, and should not have been overwhelmed because of the works of those who acted unrighteously. O Lord, my Lord, who can understand your judgment? Or who can explore the depth of your way? Or who can discern the majesty of your path? Or who can discern your incomprehensible counsel? Or who of those who are born has ever discovered the beginning and the end of your wisdom? For we all have been made like breath. For as breath ascends without human control and vanishes, so it is with the nature of men, who do not go away according to their own will, and who do not know what will happen to them in the end.
Man, it's such a funny analogy, I think, now that in some cases, while we probably, it's better for us not to track those things, it'd be very difficult, but we could track what happens to your breath. So, right, if we had like all like the proper camera setup and all the conditions, right, like we could track exactly what happens to that.
Interesting.
The point
I still
is,
think quantum uncertainty is
Yeah,
a
I
major
get
factor
you. Yeah,
there, and I'm
I
never
understand.
going to disregard it.
Right, I get that.
the point is that they're drawing back to the breath of God giving life
Right.
to Adam,
Yes.
and when people die, that breath leaves them, right? That's giving up the ghost,
Right, yeah.
as the KJV would say.
My ghost, leave it alone.
But
Hey, our ghost,
What?
yeah,
Are you sharing a ghost with me?
comrade.
Ah!
but it's very much all we are is dust in the wind
Yeah.
kind of comment here. For the righteous justly have good hope for the end, and go away from this habitation without fear, because they possess with you a store of good works, which is preserved in treasuries.
Oh, wait, hold up.
Fourth Ezra.
Job. Oh, also fourth Ezra, I guess. Because I remember there was that point in Job, right, where he's not talking about good stuff. He's talking about like the same kind of stuff that we get in Genesis, right, about storehouses
Yeah.
in heaven, right, holding up like hail and shit like that. So he's not talking about like, like metaphorical kind of good deeds sort of thing, but like actual like vaults. But these are but the language very much reminded me of that passage in Job.
It very well may be inspired by Job.
Maybe
They probably knew about Job.
yes they would have it at that time, yeah,
Yeah. There is a reference to Job.
or I should say at this time, being the time it was written, not
Pull
the
up,
time that it's supposed to be placed in.
If you would, Job 7:7.
Oh, okay, great, yeah.
In fact, just keep a Bible handy.
I really should. Man, we were over there. Chris made this game, so I was literally playing that game against well, it doesn't matter who, but the book was right there. The Bible version that I usually read was right
Want me to
there,
grab it?
and I just didn't grab it.
Want me to grab
I mean,
it?
I can, but I'll probably.
There's an error. I have to grab it anyways.
Oh wait, what's this error? Is not receiving enough video to maintain
Yes,
smooth
I don't have
streaming.
any drops.
That's weird. Because are we still moving for chat? Are we still okay? Or
You move more, guys. Yeah, there you go.
okay,
Hello, we're fine. I don't know what's
it
up.
looks like we're still going. Okay, so that is an interesting error message that we're
on the
using.
widget.
But anyways, you said
Strange.
Job 7:7, right?
Yeah.
Oh, so
Confirm
for
green,
for
right?
Bible versions, right now I actually am about to be using a Greek Septuagint.
Green, see, Ruben?
The book that we are reading from, since we were reading from Second Baruch, was it was an Old Testament pseudepigrapha. That's the book that we are reading from. So let's see, Job, man. Also, the placement in the Septuagint is different, right? Like the order of books.
Yeah.
So it is annoying to see where this is all placed. Oh, hey, look at that. This is so much easier, right? Let's see. You got Psalms, Job. Perfect. Look at that. Look how easy that was. Okay.
Job 7:7.
Yeah, that was going to take me a while in the Septuagint.
And then you would have to translate it.
Well, there is a translation.
Oh,
opportunity.
no. You have
Oh,
to
I would have to
translate
translate it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. I would deserve it. Remember that my life is a breath. My eye will never again see good.
So there is a reference to the same concept that was brought up in a couple verses back.
Yeah.
In Job. Okay, where was I?
I'm not
Therefore,
sure.
they leave this world without fear and are confident of the world which you have promised to them with an expectation full of joy. But woe to those of us who have also now been treated shamefully and who await evils at that time. But You know exactly what you've made of your servants, for we're not able to understand that which is good like you, our Creator. I shall continue to speak before your presence, O Lord, my Lord. When in the beginning of the world did not exist with its inhabitants, you devised and spoke by means of your word, and at the same time the works of your creation stood before you. And you said that you would make a man for this world as a guardian over your works, that it should be known that he was not created for the world, but the world for him. And now I see that the world which was made for us, behold,
Behold,
it remains. But we, for whom it was made, depart.
Okay, so who was referred as a guardian?
As a guardian, there is
Michael, the archangel.
apparently a reference
Michael
to
would work,
Hebrews 11:3.
Hebrews 11:3. Actually, that might be. Let's see. Hebrews 11:3.
Well, that flaming sword, don't forget
By
that.
faith, we understand that the universe was created by the word of God, so that what is seen was not made out of things that are visible. Right? Okay. Well, sure. But still, the idea of this guardian of the world. I'm trying to remember who was given that moniker, that epithet. Right?
Wasn't Adam given that
What?
position over the animals?
No, wasn't he? I think it was closer to like a caretaker or something,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
or
What
king of
is it?
animals.
Well, he was like.
What
gonna
is the
rule
term
over
in
them.
the Septuagint
Ah,
that's used?
Okay. Well,
Because
first
them-
let me find the verse. Jesus. Okay.
Yeah, this would be before the fall.
Right. Yeah.
So,
So before the fall, let's see. He's given dominion over them, right?
dominion.
Right. But that doesn't tell us like an actual title.
Some have argued that this is stewardship. Yeah, stewardship over all the earth, which would make him a guardian over the earth in a certain sense, right? If you are the beekeeper, right? You're the steward of the bees, but you're the guardian of the bees. You keep the beehive safe.
Have you seen beekeepers?
Beekeepers usually really love bees. They are so into bees.
Guys, I don't like bees. I should be
Have
a
you seen
beekeeper.
those-
Just to prove them wrong.
Have you seen those videos of like live removals of bee nests and stuff,
Yeah.
or beehives?
Yes.
rather?
Oh, absolutely.
And people doing it with like, no gloves or anything. They're just like, oh, if you're just friendly with the bees, they don't want to hurt you. Yeah, and it's like, I don't believe you.
Yeah.
I think you sprayed something in this room.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I mean, I've been in plenty of circumstances where it's like, that's not true. I got stung a bunch. You're just wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, you're getting stung a bunch and you don't care. That's what's up.
Yeah, I mean, aside from him just being given dominion over it, I can't really see.
Well, what's the Greek? What's the Greek term
check.
that
So
they
what is
use
it?
for dominion?
That's in 128. Okay. Well, I suppose, yeah, we can actually, so the Greek term would be probably a little different, right?
Mhm.
So,
This will let us.
but
know.
it's also not like, this isn't the original, right? So,
Well, no, but it is older than the Masoretic text, right?
that is true. It is older.
So it's the most reliable source that we
Not
have
necessarily,
in
but
front of us.
Oh, yeah.
fair enough,
sure.
yeah. Let's see. 128. What the hell? No shot. What the hell? I am unsure. It's over here. Okay, gotcha. That makes a lot more sense, actually.
Mhm.
All right, 128. God bless and saying increase and multiply and fill the earth and subdue it. I mean, yeah, it would still be translated dominion. It looks like. Oh yeah, so it would be rule. He would be a ruler because the word that's used there is archete, and rule over it.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, there we go. So it is ruling.
Yeah, it's ruling. This is implied guardianship. Right.
You could put it that way.
I'm pretty sure that's what it's a callback to.
That makes sense with the breath stuff, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, chapter 15.
Phenomenal.
Just like our number of concurrent viewers right now.
Wow, look at that.
15.
Amazing.
Stop,
Hey,
16.
let's get it up to 16 by the end of this chapter.
16K.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be fucking sweet.
We would be like one of the most popular streams on YouTube.
That'd be pretty dope.
There was
right?
that error. If you guys remember how to do it, and it
It
worked.
didn't work, though. It didn't work.
It was working, and then they patched it
at 1 o'clock because
like,
that's the
yeah.
update time. Yeah.
Yeah, it was nuts.
They patched it at exactly one.
You know, I wonder if that's exactly why we're having errors, right?
Because
we always go live when YouTube updates.
we're in the middle of
Well, the last issue was OBS.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
I didn't mean this today. No. Well,
hey, listen.
hey, look, it's excellent connection again.
Listen, Sumami. It would,
Thanks for listening.
16K would still be up there. Like, that'd be a ton.
16K for a Bible study stream.
Yeah, that'd be
nuts.
enormous.
I mean,
have you seen the Bible study streams?
We have a lot of casual talk
Look,
on Fridays specifically.
we don't have a lot of live viewers ever,
Right.
but we have more live viewers than most Bible study streams.
That is true.
That is true.
I have seen different Bible study streams pop up, and they're usually getting like 2 or 3 viewers.
Whoa.
And they're all like, God's amazing, guys. And I'm like, I could see why people get sick of this.
Even Aaron, who has like a huge pre-built-in audience, doesn't get that many people on his live streams when he goes over Bible stuff. Now, I'm sure he gets a lot of views that occur thereafter, right?
Yeah, I guess more so.
Yeah, but like live viewership for this kind of stuff is not very popular. We see about 10 times as many people on average after 3 months who were watching the video are counted as viewers, right? So it's roughly 10 times for us. I don't know what Aaron's stats are like after 3 months between the live broadcast and the released video. That'd be interesting.
The thing is, it probably doesn't go up because because Aaron releases so much content that his stuff gets pushed to the backlog real quick.
And he's also appearing on a lot of different places.
Yeah, he's always doing stuff. So so over time, those older videos, they don't accumulate more and more views.
I don't know how he has time to play with his snakes.
He plays with them on stream.
I know. Yeah. Anyways, chapter 15. And the Lord answered and said to me, you are rightly astonished about man's departure, but your judgment about the evils which befell those who sin is incorrect.
Incorrect? I think not.
And with regard to what you say about the righteous who are taken away and the wicked ones who are happy, and with regard to what you say that man does not know your judgment, for this reason, now, listen, and I shall speak to you. Pay attention, and I shall let my words be heard. It is true that man would not have understood my judgment if he had not received the law, and if he were not instructed with understanding. Okay, so the Torah is necessary, right?
That would have been the idea of the necessity of that book after the exile, especially after, because when did we place this? I forget when this was dated to.
This was going to be somewhere around the same time as Revelation, I thought.
Oh, yeah, okay. That would make sense, though, after the destruction of the Second Temple. Like, remember what, quote-unquote, worked for them, in at least ideologically, in the time after the exile, right? The religion entirely changed.
It was either shortly after the destruction of the Second Temple or like right around that period. It could have some references to Bar Kokhba, but it's not clear.
Sure, yeah. So either way, putting it in that context of, at least sometime after the destruction of the Second Temple, then that would make a lot of sense, because after the destruction of the First Temple, they were all like, oh my God, it's our fault. We're horrible. We need to worship properly. So
it's your fault. You're horrible. You need to worship properly.
Exactly. That's what they said. So
I'm not talking about me, though.
Oh, okay. Well, that's what they said anyways. So they, but eventually they came back, right? Like era of Ezra and Nehemiah. They came back, they rebuilt. They were having a good time until, new control over the land, until Hellenism. But I would think that maybe if in this way they are also trying to bring themselves back, maybe that's why they're all the Adam illusions, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're trying to bring it back to their in their ideology what the original state was, even though that was not what it would have actually been, but they would have believed that it was, so they would have wanted to bring it back.
Well, that's always been the goal, is to establish the new Eden, right? The heavenly Jerusalem.
That is true, yeah.
Not heavenly, but the new Jerusalem.
I know what you mean, yeah. It would have been heavenly, kind of. It would have been a lot nicer than this one.
Yeah, this one sucks.
This one would have had God himself at it. And like angels flying around and shit.
Yeah.
Maybe not the fire ones, but
who cares?
Well, I mean, God always comes with like these many-eyed things and like these rivers of fire and all this kind of stuff. It's not necessarily a pleasant place, right?
But the thing is, if you're part of like that whole shebang, if you're in on it, you're fine.
Yeah, but you still
They don't
have
mention that at all.
many-eyed winged flaming beasts flying around, which have alien consciousnesses that are arguably non-sentient. Like,
Yeah, right.
that would freak people out, I think, no matter what. That's why the angels are always like, be not afraid.
Yeah, that's right.
Like,
Don't be afraid.
Okay, I'm afraid. We told me not to be, so I'm definitely afraid now.
right.
Yeah.
Even the most like devout Jews, right? They're freaking out when they see these things because they're horrific.
Yeah, that's true. They are
Except
horrific.
for those Sodom and Gomorrahites who were like, man, those...
Oh, yeah, so hot. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, those were hot. Maybe that's why they had to stop being so hot and instead had to be horrifying monsters.
I wonder which illustration of angels came first.
Good question.
Right?
I mean, it depends on what you define as an angel, right? In traditional Judaism, you wouldn't have any images of angels because you're not allowed to depict an image of anything in heaven above, right?
Sure, yeah.
So,
Any square is 4 misspelled angels.
wow.
So let's continue.
Yeah, let's do that.
That was bad.
That was pretty
Come
bad.
on.
But now, because he trespassed, having understanding, he will be punished because he has understanding. And with regard to the righteous ones, okay, so this implies that that those who do not have any understanding of the law, of the Torah, right, they bear no responsibility for their actions. They won't be punished for anything by God.
At least this addresses the... Shit, what was the name of that problem? Oh man, like it's the there's a name for it, but
Explain it.
so if there is some dude that has never heard of the Bible or Jesus or any of that stuff, like he's just living somewhere out in either the desert or like in a fucking tundra, and a Christian preacher goes to one of these remote places and he talks to this guy who's like fishing or something. And he's like, hey, have you heard about Jesus? And he's like, no. And then he tells him all about Jesus and how if you don't believe in him, he's doomed to like eternal damnation. And then the guy's like, well, what if I never heard of this guy? And the guy's like, well, then you'd be fine because you never had a chance to believe in him. And then the guy's like, well, why did you tell me then? Like, you just condemned him.
Right.
So I forget the name of that, of the general idea behind that thought problem, but
I'm not sure of the name, but the concept is that Christian missionaries are literally intentionally damning people to hell.
Yeah.
Damn them.
But I think some people don't actually agree with that though.
Right.
Like some people are like, well,
according to Second Baruch.
right, yeah. But according to Second Baruch.
Yeah. Where was I? Okay, yes. And with regard to the righteous ones.
Sumami, it depends on which Christians you ask.
With regard to the righteous ones, those whom you said the world has come on their account, yes, also that which is coming is on their account. For this world is to them a struggle and an effort with much trouble, and that accordingly which will come, a crown with great glory. And that's the end of chapter 15.
I suppose I'll take it.
Let me hand it off to you for the longest chapter in the history of Apocrypha, Pseudepigrapha.
Are you ready, Chris, for this very long chapter?
I think you're being facetious.
Well, do you remember how, I forget which book it was, but the shortest chapter was like 2 words?
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys remember those words? Because I don't. It was a Gnostic work, wasn't it?
I don't recall exactly what it was.
But either way. So, chapter 16. And I answered and said, O Lord, my Lord, behold!
Behold.
The present years are few and evil, and who can inherit that which is unmeasurable in this short time? That's the end of chapter 16.
I knew it.
Yeah.
Immeasurably long.
So here's the issue that he's pointing out, right? God has this like infinite consciousness that is capable of processing a lot more information than any human being is ever capable of.
Right, not just that, but like the reward that you get is like it's everything forever basically. So how do you earn everything forever in a short amount of time?
Right.
Yeah.
There's this concept that there's this disconnect between what is actually attainable by human beings and what would justifiably put someone in the position that's being promised to them. Obviously, if human beings have limited understanding, then they have a limited understanding of justice, right? Of the good.
Also true, yeah.
Right? And so one would figure that a person who is wholly righteous, who adheres purely to the form of the good, would be given some kind of greater reward because of their great righteousness. But that's not what's being promised to them, right? The promise is like this general thing that applies to whole swaths of people, not just the most holy, devout people out there. So it's a valid question that what justifies them getting the same treatment as the people who really were like purely aligned with righteousness. It seems unjust.
Right, but if they truly understood justice in its full form, then there wouldn't be an issue theoretically.
Well, if they did truly understand justice in its full capacity, then I suppose even if it was unjust, they would not take issue with it,
right?
Because of how just and righteous they are.
Right, yeah. Yeah, that is true. And then you're left with the Euthyphro dilemma. And yeah, that's always a fun one. Yeah. Asking where that comes from. So, gonna continue on then. Chapter 17.
cannibalism crackers.
Cannibalism crackers.
Yeah, the Catholics do their.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that is right.
Their cracker thing.
You're right.
That's pretty funny.
And the Lord answered and said to me, with the Most High, no account is taken of much time and a few years. For what did it profit Adam that he lived 930 years and transgressed that which he was commanded? Fair point, I guess. Fair point. Therefore, the multitude of time that he lived did not profit him, but it brought death and cut off the years of those who were born from him.
That's a good point.
Yes.
If Adam would have just died
Immediately.
before the
He wouldn't
fall,
have fucked up.
yeah,
Wouldn't have fucked up.
then we would have all been fine.
So I think it's actually God's fault for making Adam live so long.
Yeah, no, he purposely made him live longer. Maybe that's the thing. The shorter lifespan, it's actually a blessing because it it gives you less time to fuck up in.
Right? Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Talking about it in these terms are so fucking weird.
Mm-hmm. This is what some people actually believe.
I know. It's fine as a thought problem, but when you start talking about it, this is how we should base morality on. No.
Not just morality, but all of society and home life and even your internal thoughts.
Right. Ridiculous. Or what did it harm Moses that he lived only 120 years? Because he subjected himself to him who created him. He brought the laws of the descendants of Jacob, and he lighted a lamp to the generation of Israel. I just want to be clear here on how they're measuring sins. Mm-hmm. Because Moses did do things wrong. I know.
Blasphemers.
Which is why he wasn't allowed into the Holy Land.
Bingo. Hit the nail on the head.
Yeah.
And for that one, it was the weird thing with the water, right? Because he decided to hit the rock when God didn't tell him to do it.
Well, also think of the implications here, right? Moses was not allowed into Jerusalem. So when the new Jerusalem comes, will Moses be allowed?
Yeah, April's right, by the way. And the time he killed that guy.
Yeah, he murdered a dude.
The Egyptian dude, yeah.
I mean, to be fair, God murdered a bunch of Egyptians right after that
true.
too. So
that wasn't a sin. You're right.
It's hard to tell
what's right and wrong.
Is God just okay with murdering Egyptians? Is it
specifically Egyptians?
Yeah. Is he like, oh well, that one dude beating that slave, that's okay. You can murder that guy because punch a Nazi or whatever.
Yeah.
But. No, that other dude over there, just don't kill him. Why? What?
Even if that dude did do something wrong, right? If that guy did something horrible, mm-hmm.
There
are plenty of ways out, right?
Yeah, there's plenty of ways. Yeah. But the Exodus story is ridiculous, right? Pharaoh's going to let them go after the first thing, and God's like, no.
Yeah, they're coming back. And I want to get rid of all of them.
Look, we're going to sick wild beasts on them. We're going to take away the sun from them. We're going to send in an angel of death to kill all the firstborn.
Even when the Pharaoh was like, okay, fine, you can leave. God was like, okay, now that my people were allowed to leave, I'm going to make sure you're not allowed to live, I guess.
One last thing.
Yeah, one last thing.
Let's drown a bunch of people.
I'm gonna go and chase the Israelites. Yeah, that's right, you Egyptian.
It almost seems like God's intended purpose in doing these things is just to try and genocide the Egyptians.
Honestly, yeah.
Because they could have gotten out at any point, but he just kept going no.
He hardened his heart.
Yeah, he hardened his heart. He's like, we're going to make sure that this is as bad as it can be.
Right, yeah. Right?
kind of nuts.
There were times where Pharaoh hardened his own heart, and then there were times where God hardened Pharaoh's heart.
Yeah.
And then there were times that Pharaoh hardened God's heart, and then it was a big heart-hardening circle.
And then there were times when my Metapod used harden, and then your Metapod used harden.
Let's repeat this 40 times.
That scene was made so intense.
I know.
They're like sweating, like, oh my God, I can't believe he's hardened this much.
That's too hard. Let's move on.
Wild scene. Okay.
Yep.
Anyways, now to chapter 18. And I answered and said, he who lighted took from the light, and there are few who imitated him. He who lighted took from the light? Can you check John 1:9?
John 1:9. Well, let me use the only reliable and trustworthy version of the Bible. Of course, everyone's favorite KJV. That was the true light which lighteth every man that cometh into the world.
Clip it, Sumami. Clip it. Something about the hardening, I'm guessing. But anyways, yeah. Thank you. But many whom he illuminated took from the darkness of Adam and did not rejoice in the light of the lamp. My guess here is the light of the lamp thing. Not only, being like a connection to maybe Jesus, but also the lamp of the tabernacle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. This would be post Maccabean.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. So not just the tabernacle, but the temple itself, right?
Yeah, they
And
would
the
have
menorah,
an eternal
yeah.
light being set up, and not the menorah. That's just a.
Well, yeah, that's later.
But
name
no,
for
they
it,
would
but-
have an oil lamp set up within the building itself to always be lit. So they do have the lamp and the
Right.
light associated with their religious buildings.
Yeah.
Right? So
Oh, yeah, true. P-Town would say that. The lamp is but the thing is, in this case, they are directly making that link.
Mhm.
In this apocryphal text, by the way. They're making that link. So, because at least when they're talking about the light and the time period this would have been in, that's at least feasible. But I don't know. Or maybe we're just not there yet, right? Because we're still in the Mosaic period of recounting these things. But either way, on to chapter 19. And he answered and said to me, therefore, he appointed a covenant for them at that time, and said, Behold!
behold.
That was a horrifying voice.
Yeah,
What was that? What'd you do?
I was going for an old wizard kind of thing.
Yeah. Oh, boy, that was bad.
Is mine okay?
I appoint for you life and death. And he called heaven and earth as a witness against them. For he knew that his time was short, but that heaven and earth will stay forever. They, however, sinned and trespassed after his death, although they knew that they had the law to reprove them, and that light in which nothing could err apart from the spheres which witnessed and me.
But I don't understand. The people who he killed in the flood didn't have the law. They didn't even have the Noahide laws, right?
You're right, they did not.
They had no idea that they were transgressing against what God wanted, right?
Yeah, they would not have any way of knowing that.
By existing, in some cases.
They were just evil, apparently.
Mhm.
Okay. So, interesting. So this would be in reference of people who knew that they have sinned, right?
Right.
So this would be this would have been like the people of this would have been the pre-exilic period at the very least.
If there
Because it sounds like we're skipping way ahead.
Well, if there is one moral principle that they're trying to promote, it's that you can't blame people for things that they had no control over, right? You can't judge someone for sinning if they don't know that what they're doing is a sin. You can't punish them for that. That's unreasonable. You can only do something in response if they know and still intentionally choose to do what is considered evil, right? So, but I'm not sure it follows, really. It depends on, like, where you place the ethics, right?
Right.
If you have this position that... Well, no, I suppose not, because they're following divine command theory, and by divine command theory, if they include this in their divine commands, then it's just like in addition to divine command theory. But if we follow any serious kind of ethics,
Right,
then
yeah.
it's very hard to tell exactly what they would be going for. You'd be able to make a lot of arguments for a lot of different things.
Yeah, so I mean, this is like after the death of Moses, it seems, or sorry, after the. This I guess this would make more sense as after the death of Moses, right? Because we're talking about the law, and he's the lawgiver. So,
Yeah, you give the law.
like even the Noahide law is one thing, or the Noahide covenant. And this seems like they're talking about the actions of the people between the death of Moses and between the exile, right? Because if we're supposed to view this as Baruch.
Look, this brings up a serious question, right?
What is it?
Why would God, keeping all of this in mind, why would God introduce the law? Because...
Oh, that's right. Heathen Coalition. Yes, it is Friday the 13th.
Oh, yeah,
It is.
remember that.
Yes, happy Friday the 13th. But no, why would God introduce the law to begin with? Now, he gives a reason earlier on, right, that he has introduced the law so that some people might be benefited by becoming righteous and reaping the rewards of righteousness, right? But by creating the law, he has guaranteed that the vast majority of people will come into contact with it at some point and therefore know that they are breaking the law. They just won't take the law seriously.
Right, yeah.
Right. And as a consequence of that, they get whatever punishment is in store for those who knowingly break the law. Right?
I'll say so.
So he has taken it from being a system where no one gets punished, right? No one has to suffer. There's no justification for an eternal suffering hellscape type thing in such a system.
Hellscapes, yes.
But once he has introduced the law, just so that a handful of people can get rewards, he has instituted a standard that will lead to the vast majority of people suffering.
Mm-hmm.
Right, yeah.
That
He only wants the best in some of those scenarios. Remember, it was like pruning to him.
Essentially, yes. And remember, only 144,000.
Yeah, 144,000.
Yeah.
And I even thought that was just going to be, they're the special group of, like, especially holy people who are left aside. And then
It did
in
kinda-
Revelation, like, the disasters start befalling all of the people in the crowd in front of them. So it's like, you know what, maybe this really is, like, just 144,000 and a handful of people who survive a bunch of disasters.
Yeah, just like some representatives of the ones that are totally kept safe.
I am the last person from Poland.
No, man.
Yeah, right. I didn't mean to be the representative. Wasn't even born there, just happened to be that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, also, on the 20... I forget the date, but like closer to Halloween or the Samhain, closer to Samhain, Heathen Coalition and I are going to a Samhain celebration. And there's going to be a costume party. And I don't know if I should try to... I don't know what I should go. Should I go as a pirate? Because that's my only idea, but that wouldn't really fit the theme, right?
No.
So like...
2 pirates.
I should go as 2 pirates.
You should buy
up the
a
hats.
cheap Grim Reaper Actually, we have a cheap Grim Reaper costume.
Yeah, we have several.
I don't know. I feel like
carry around a big plastic scythe.
Okay, but what if it wasn't plastic?
Oh.
I probably shouldn't bring that. It's like
you shouldn't bring a murder weapon to the Halloween party.
But
haven't you
do you
seen
think I'd
those
win
cartoons?
I think I'd win the costume contest, right? Especially if I threaten them with this.
I mean, if you went as the Grim Reaper
Joke.
you just cut all this off and where it's a skeleton there.
Yes.
You would win the costume contest.
Right, yeah.
Right? Yeah, but that's a terrible idea. Don't do it.
Where was I? Right. Okay. So I'll think of a costume. Right. So he's talking about
you could buy one of those like extremely
as a tomato
provocative like they're costumes for women.
Oh yeah, I could go as like a sexy nurse, right?
Yeah, you could. You could be a Princess Peach or a sexy nurse or a sexy librarian or a sexy teacher. Or,
right. Do you think I could pull off sexy librarian?
If you wear the costume exactly as it's intended.
Right, maybe I could.
Maybe you could.
Yeah.
You
Odin is a good one, yeah.
Yeah, you could do Odin.
Yeah.
You just got to get an eye patch.
Easy.
Yeah. It's already in with your pirate stuff.
Right, yeah, true.
So Odin is a pirate.
Obviously, the only thing that matters.
Duh! It's also a zombie.
I like how pirate-like he is in like cartoon depictions and stuff, where he has this eye patch and then like, some kind of bird on his shoulder at some point.
Sure, yeah.
It always happens.
Yeah.
I should go as Jesus on a pogo stick. Is that the costume idea? All right. not awful.
Gotta get a pogo stick.
Anyways.
And I judge everything that exists. You, however, should not think about this in your heart, and you should not be afflicted because of the things which have been. For now the end of times is at stake, whether it be property, happiness, or shame, and not its beginning. For when a man is happy in his youth and is treated badly in his old age, he forgets all happiness he possessed. Does he?
If he has some kind of
neurodegenerative
disorder where he forgets
that's
past.
Yes, but if he is just treated badly, I guess they wouldn't have known about that stuff, right? But
hey, if you're happy, you would know it. Don't bother clapping your hands.
The point is that there can be a period of time when you're younger, when you're happy, but if every day after you hit 18 is just suffering,
then you just be sad, right?
Yeah, you wouldn't care about being happy back then.
Yeah, and further, when a man is badly treated in his youth, but will be happy in the end, he does not remember his disgrace anymore. And further, listen. Even if everyone had been happy continually since the day death was decreed against those who trespassed, but was destroyed in the end, everything would have been in vain. I mean, sure, but at the same time, so
what?
Yeah, so what?
On the scale of God, it's like who cares?
Right. Also, that kind of reminds me of you know how like a lot of the conservative types they don't want like stuff like universal health care because they didn't have it, so other people shouldn't, like something like that, right? It's a very similar kind of idea. It was like, well, all of our work would have been like all that suffering we did would have been for nothing.
And it was. But it's thank you.
It's like well, like why does that mean that other people need to go through it as well?
Oh, it's not just conservatives. Look at academics. I mean,
sure.
Academics is premised upon the concept that you're going to go through the same kind of suffering that someone else did so that you can have a seat at the table where they're talking.
But also, well, I mean, that one, at least for academics, there's like I guess there is technically a peer-reviewed process in politics. It's just not very great.
I wouldn't say there's a peer-reviewed process. I would say that there's...
The closest thing would be like, voting. But like that's not exactly the same thing, right? So There's checks and balances, right? Is that peer reviewed? Does that count?
You know, the most fucked up part about it is that as a civilian, and even, to be honest, as a politician, there's so much going on in the U.S. government and in any government that you're only ever getting these little glimpses of bits and pieces at any given point of time. You do not have the basis in the vast majority of situations to come to an informed decision about
right, that is true.
What,
right.
But we expect people to have positions on various things, right? And we expect people to vote based off of these positions. So what we're actually encouraging people to do is come to very quick and hasty conclusions about things that they don't understand very well, and then argue in favor of that very vehemently and reject any kind of alternative. And that's
Fair, yeah, fair.
It's generally what happens in our system.
That's why you're wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
So, either way, that was the end of that chapter. Now we got one more chapter left. Chapter 20.
To me.
Oh,
So I can
okay.
do
Sure.
we can do our usual sandwiching.
All right, yeah. Chapter 20 seems nice. I don't know why. Just seemed nice to me.
It seems nice.
Do you want to do it?
Hey, listen.
your
If
thing?
you want to, sandwich it, we can do that.
I mean, I don't want to deprive you of all meaning.
Listen. All in vain.
Yeah. Okay. Chapter 20. Therefore, behold!
Behold!
The days will come and the times will hasten more than the former, and the periods will hasten more than those which are gone, and the years will pass more quickly than the present ones. Pseudophilo 1913 mentions this.
Okay, I don't think I have.
No, I don't
we
think
don't
you
have
do.
that. Well,
Therefore, I now look away, Zion, to visit the world in its own time, more speedily.
oh, actually, yes.
Oh,
We do have pseudophilo.
is it in that one?
Yeah. Let's see. I've said
Pseudophilo 1913.
1913.
Yeah, good year.
Okay.
Not really.
Nah, you don't know.
No, I don't think it was. Actually, now that I think about it,
kind
no.
of a shitty year.
No, it was not a good year.
Mm.
All right, let's see. It's around here. Pseudophilo, you said 1913.
Yes.
Boy. Okay. That's 20. Here we go. 1913. Wow. These are quite long. But this heaven will be before me like a fleeting cloud and passing like yesterday. And when the time draws near to visit the world, I will command the years and order the times, and they will be shortened. And the stars will hasten, and the light of the sun will hurry to fall, and the light of the moon will not remain. Nor I will hurry to raise up you who are sleeping, in order that all who can live may dwell in the place of sanctification I showed you. So it looks like
It's the reference to the years passing more quickly than the present ones. He's changing the times.
Yes, time will just go faster.
Go fast, time.
Therefore, I now look away, Zion, to visit the world in its own time more speedily. Now, however, remember everything which I commanded you and seal it in the interior of your mind. And then I shall show you my strong judgment and my unexplorable ways. Therefore, go away and sanctify yourself for 7 days, and do not eat the bread, and do not drink the water, and do not speak to anybody. And after this time, come to this place, and I shall reveal myself to you. And I shall speak to you true things, and I shall command you with regard to the course of times, for they will come and will not tarry. He just told him to kill himself by not drinking water for a week.
So first, kill yourself, and then we'll talk. What?
That's the end.
Yeah, therefore go away and sanctify yourself.
Go kill
Yeah.
yourself.
All right. Yep. Good old fasting in the worst way.
That's not fasting. That is dying.
Not even slowly.
It's both. Well, it's starving and
purposely
dehydrating.
dying of dehydration.
Yeah. And that makes sense why he would receive a revelation after that, right? Because he's fucking loopy as fuck.
Or dead.
He's out of his fucking mind.
Yeah.
His brain is doing its last gasps of, like, survival.
Holy shit.
Yeah, wild. Either way, yeah, those are the chapters for the day.
Yeah, what did you think of the chapters today?
They were fine.
They're okay.
Yeah, they're okay. Wasn't like super detailed theological stuff, and it wasn't nothing.
Yeah.
Somewhere in between.
The main thing is that you can't be punished for something you did wrong unknowingly, right? That is the main purpose of these sections. Unfortunately, this is pseudepigrapha.
Right.
Yep.
Doesn't count.
Doesn't count. No religious tradition here in the world today has accepted this message that you can't be punished for something that you did unknowingly. I suppose some
they do, yeah.
Some might recognize that.
I'm pretty sure actually Islam is that way.
Supposedly.
At least because I did actually ask a Muslim, like, hey, what are your thoughts on, like, if someone's never even heard of this stuff? I asked him that exact question with, like, the fisherman, the far off fisherman dude. And he's like, oh, if they never heard of it, they're fine. It's based completely off of their deeds, like if they were just a good person or not, because they never had a chance to repent or whatever.
I would have to look into it.
Yeah, but at least that's what I was told by the Muslims.
I've had a lot of things told to me by Christians and Jews that are not consistent with the theology of their tradition.
Sure, yeah.
So while it is important information, that I'll give them the benefit of the doubt, but I'm not going to assert that it's true.
Sure, fair enough.
And
plus, this might be just one of those cases where it's like, because you have not just the Quran, right, but then you have the Hadiths, right? And the thing is, because as you discussed in the Quran video, there are a lot of disagreements between them. So just like in rabbinical traditions, there are disagreements between like imams, right? So the issues of interpretation start to come up when you try to figure out when something was written in Muhammad's life, like which revelation was later, which is the more updated revelation. So if there's a contradiction, that is often how they are decided, right? What was the process called again?
The abrogation process.
Abrogation, okay.
It's referred to as nask.
Okay, nask, okay.
Yeah. I learned about an interesting one just the other day. In Islam, taqiyya is a precautionary dissimulation or denial of religious belief and practice. Generally, taqiyya is the act of committing a sinful act, such as feigning unbelief, for a pious goal. Hiding one's beliefs under compulsion is common in many societies and religions. It's been a feature of Islam since its earliest days and is acknowledged by Muslims of virtually all persuasions. However, the use of taqiyya varies, especially between Sunni and Shia Muslims.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. Sunni Muslims gained political supremacy over time and therefore only occasionally found need to practice taqiyya. On the other hand, the minority Shia community developed taqiyya as an instinctive method of self-preservation and protection in hostile environments. So there's also kitman, the act of covering, which is more specifically doing so by silence or omission. But it's interesting to me that these are like religious principles that are built into the religion itself, that it's like,
sure,
hey, you can lie for specific purposes and you can deny things that are true for specific purposes, which is really strange to me. Like, I can understand that if it's like, are Nazis coming door to door?
Right,
are
yeah.
the Jews in your basement? Well, you
can
omit that kind of stuff. But it seems strange to me, given the context of like the all importance of following specific commandments within Not just Islam, but all
thing
of
is
the
that-
Abrahamic tradition.
The thing is that probably adapted. That was probably adapted like that and understood like that because of those kinds of pressures. Maybe they were put in situations like that where they were like, we have to make it okay sometimes.
And if there were periods of time, well, we know that there was Jewish, Christian, and pagan presences in the region of Mecca and Medina. Right. So there would have been a period of time where they surely would have been a persecuted minority there, and they would have had to, early on in their religion, develop some kind of mechanism to keep themselves alive.
Right,
So-
yeah, because they also did kind of have to, at least in their minds, it's like we're bringing it back to the original Judaism, basically.
From
Like-
the heavenly tablets.
Yeah, exactly, that kind of stuff. Yeah,
There was a surprising response in the Quran videos comment section, right?
Well,
where people talked about never having heard of the tablets. And then other people in the comments are like, if you haven't heard about these, then you're not Muslim, right? So it makes me wonder about
these different religious traditions.
Well, no,
and
it
the
makes
teaching
me
of them.
wonder about how genuine some of the comments that you'll see on these videos about Islam or the Quran are. If they have an established tradition that allows lying for something in pursuit of a pious goal, right, and they view you putting down the Quran by saying, oh, this is part of the Quran, it kind of doesn't make sense, they can say, oh, no, that's false. That's just not in the book, right? And that is in accordance with a religious tradition that allows them to do that by the principle of the taqiyya, right? So I wonder about how...
I feel like that'd be a very person-to-person thing.
It's definitely a person-to-person thing, but it's something that I keep in mind when I see comments. Is this person just uninformed? Or is this person intentionally lying about something?
I feel like it's probably more likely that they're going to be uninformed,
Yeah.
but
Hopefully. We hope
What about
that
misinformed?
people are uninformed so that we can inform them, right?
right, yeah. Oh my god, there was this hilarious. I was gonna do this project on Celtic mythology, and I was gonna try to like historicize all of it, like the same way we do with biblical texts.
Sure.
First of all, impossible.
Oh.
Because these our records of them come from much later, after many successive changes to the stories, and because we don't have like manuscript evidence, we can't even like begin. We don't have many separate traditions. We can't even begin to build backwards. It's just not possible. So I was like, fuck. So I changed my entire topic, but because that would have been decades of study. But
Better get on that.
yeah, right. I during that period while I was still looking through books, there was this book that was published about 100 years ago that was like a compilation and translation of many of these myths, right? And the way that the guy introduced himself, first of all, he was doing it in third person. And
That's normal.
and then he was like some French dude.
Chris thinks that's normal.
Yeah. And then at the introduction of this book, he's like, the Celtic people ought to thank Dr. Like whatever his name was. But the thing is, he's doing it in third person. So people ought to thank me for preserving their traditions, because without me, they wouldn't have done this.
Right.
Like that, I was like, this is wild. That's exactly the same kind of shit that like, a lot of like museums, they have stuff from like other places that they won't give back because they're like, oh, you're not going to take care of it. Like it was fucking stolen during a war or some shit. Like,
They're really not. They're going to scrap it.
It's fucking wild though. Like he was like, they should be thanking me for preserving all their things. Like, holy shit.
There's like, okay, some parts of Eastern culture, specifically modern Eastern culture, like China, scrap it. They don't care. They don't preserve anything. They're like, okay, this temple, we're going to, it's old. It's like 250 years old. So we're going to not destroy it, but we're going to tear it down, get rid of all of its parts, scan them, and put new pieces there in the exact same formation. And we're like, but that ruins like all the stuff, the history of it.
Well, here's the thing.
So is that the same? I don't know.
Other ones like what is it? The Benin bronzes. There's like the statue, like there's some Greek statues, right? Or Greek friezes. So like I think half of them are like I think half of them is like, at least this frieze is in the place where it was originally at, and then the other half is somewhere else in like the British Museum or something.
Jeez.
And they're all like, hey, can we please get the rest of our like ours is on display too. Like, we'll take care of it. We just
that one's unfair. Okay, if they've got a proper setup, we give them back their shit.
Right? Yeah, but like they're like, no, you're not gonna do it because like they just want the fucking foot traffic or whatever. But either way,
I also want to point out that the allowances for lying are not just a Muslim thing. Right? I know that there are allowances for lying in situations in Judaism, right?
You've got 3 lies a week.
But I think the most lies that I see come out of Christians. And
well, there's more Christians around here than anything else. It's kind of unfair.
And I mean like unquestionable situations, right? Where that they know what they're saying is a lie, right? And you can go on a lot of debates online and see this literally happening in front of you. Like you look at like I don't know who's a Christian online. T-Jump.
T-Jump's T-Jump is an atheist.
T-Jump's an atheist. I don't know. I don't keep track of these things. I just see names pop up. Now, if I think about internet atheists.
That's so funny.
Okay.
That's so funny.
If I think about internet atheists, honestly, I'm thinking about Christopher Hitchens and Richard Dawkins.
That's fair. Yeah.
These new kids on the block.
Like Venom Fang X.
Venom Fang X. Yeah, I still think about Venom Fang X. I have no idea.
That is true, April. Yeah, he does.
I have not followed a single thing having to do with an internet atheist space for years. I have no idea who any of the people active in it are.
That's fair, yeah.
But I have seen clips here and there.
Jasper, it's funnier if he meant T-Jump.
P-Town?
Oh, yeah.
Who's P-Town?
We don't know who that is.
He doesn't know who P-Town is.
We've never
we talked about P-Town once or twice.
We have.
Right?
Yeah.
Who's P-Town?
This is so funny. He is on Aaron's show with us. He says he's a Christian guy who is on and he's on our show, but I think he's a Poe, so I call him Poe-Town.
Wow.
I am unconvinced, but even if he is a Christian, he is at least a troll. So,
who isn't? I'm a troll.
No.
Okay, I'm an instance. Whatever. I'm not even a good troll. I immediately tell you I'm trolling.
I know you're not a good troll.
I just think it's strange because, as far as I know, there is no religious allowance for lying in Christianity. I know there is in rabbinical Judaism.
In a way that there kind of is, but it's not allowance for lying. It's allowance for not steering, not diverting from the line, I guess, or always just towing the line. There are ideas like, well, listen, in the face of adversity, don't basically stay strong, right? And while if you are in fact correct, that would make perfect sense, and you're not lying. Mm-hmm. But if you are wrong, while it wouldn't be lying, it would certainly be dishonest just to keep the faith. There's a precedence for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think that's a little different.
It is a little different. Yeah.
It is a little different. It's not like an explicit advocation of being able to lie.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It's interesting that they give exceptions to certain commandments in certain situations. I don't think that would be in the Catholic tradition, though. I think because Catholics, they do this thing where they identify God with that which is the good and truth is the good, right?
Right.
They identify these things as being identical to each other. So if you ever engage in a lie within a system that has that, then you are definitively not engaging in the good. It's definitively not a good action within that worldview.
Sure. Yeah.
So there are some that definitely have no allowances, I think, or it would not be consistent with their tradition to have allowances for it. What's more interesting is how it can be used in different situations, how it impacts discussions, especially worldwide discussions on an online space, right? Can someone lie about something online? Who would do that? Who would just go on the internet and lie about something? Yeah. No, people are going to lie on the internet, but when people are actively engaging in conversations about topics such as like what was on my Quran video, right? The heavenly tablets, right? When some certain Muslims commenting say, if you haven't heard of this, then you're not a Muslim. And others commenting on it say, I've never heard anything about that.
Yeah, my guess there is literally like people who just grew up Muslim and people who are actually well-read Muslims. So it'd be the difference. Because like you can go up to like some Christian, right? Like a random Christian.
And so we assume ignorance.
Right. Your everyday Christian will not know stuff about like the ecumenical councils.
Right.
They can be Christian all fucking day long, but they're not going to know what happened at the ecumenical councils.
But they're not supposed to like BS their way through a discussion about it either.
Right. Yeah. But the thing is, I know you have your issues with it, but I think it's an interesting way of viewing it. It's Dunning-Kruger.
Him and Ruben.
Okay, Dunning-Kruger.
I know.
Isn't there are situations that phenomenon, right?
Phenomenon, yeah, sure.
There can be certain phenomena which are consistent with what people describe as Dunning-Kruger.
Yes.
Right? And that is that as confidence goes up, there's like this confidence competence gap that goes like whoop, like that kind of. And people can verify, I can verify that I've personally experienced this in certain situations. The only question is whether it is something that follows on a larger scale to any degree beyond just individual phenomenal cases of this occurring, right? Is it a trend? Is it an effect? Right?
Because you can still have people with high confidence, or I should say semi-high confidence in themselves, if not their statements, that don't have it at all. Obviously, they never fall into it. I think you guys wouldn't. And I've met some people who fall into Dunning-Kruger constantly. Like I had a roommate, I don't remember his name particularly, Mitch or something, constantly fell into it. Doesn't matter. It was interesting. He was so confident in what he was doing. He's like, I got a D- on this. And it's like, yeah, Mitch.
You don't know this topic.
Got drunk and smoked all night. You didn't do anything related to the tests. I mean, I got a C-, but I was with you last night. Didn't expect to get high or high on that grade.
Well, it's also interesting what things are allowed to be transgressed in certain situations and what aren't. Like, if you're a Muslim in old pagan times in Mecca or Medina,
okay, sure,
and there is a statue of Al-Lat, right? And this is a pagan deity. Are you allowed to sacrifice to that statue if you need to in order to survive? Or is that a hard line that you're not allowed to pass?
Right, that's a good question. And do you, I've read this up before. I think it was in was it in 1 Kings 10 or 2 Kings 10? Where, I forget which one, but it was where the king literally goes through with a sacrifice, with a pagan sacrifice, and then kills the priests, but he still went through with the pagan sacrifice.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, that didn't seem to be an issue for him, right? So
because it didn't work.
Right. It doesn't.
The sacrifice was supposed to work. You failed. Kill that guy.
Okay.
It's strange how many allowances there are and for what they are for.
Yeah. Either way, title says it all. We just want to sin.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I didn't even read the title today.
Girls just want to sin.
Wow.
That's like a Sister Cindy level thing, okay?
Okay, yeah.
Wow.
But I don't know if
That was
Sister Cindy
bad.
would know the song.
Remember
She wouldn't.
that a square is just 4 misspelled angels.
Oh, and a few things before we head out. First of all, 25 viewers, huge.
Thank you.
Please drop a like. I'm asking this time because there are 25 people here.
Yeah.
Please drop a like. They all help us out. Any kind of viewer engagement helps with popping up in suggested feeds. So either like or dislike, actually, it doesn't really matter.
Especially dislike.
Right.
Disliking actually helps us
honest.
more. Why are you liking people? Dislike it.
Yeah, you
I just
fucking
saw the
assholes.
like go up. Why?
Yeah, right.
All right, well,
Let's see. Join the Discord as well.
yes.
Thank you, Sumami, for
Thanks, Sumami.
disliking. Why does it keep going up?
Because they disliked it.
Ah,
Anyway,
damn it! Ah.
we got to end it quick, guys. They keep liking the video.
Someone do the exclamation point Discord
Yeah.
in the chat though. It'll pop up a link to our Discord.
It's also in the description.
That as well.
In fact, there's several ways that you can access
Check
the
that dead
Discord.
link out.
If you're not in the Discord already, why not? You should be.
Yeah.
You could be in there talking shit about conspiracy theorists or
I read everything.
What you could be doing is making a Lawrence diss track right now.
Yeah, we still haven't gotten a Lawrence diss
I
track.
think the only person that's even considered working on that was April.
I
I don't know where that's been
By
at.
the way, for 100 points,
Stop.
we can end the show.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. We'll see you guys. Bye.